All right, we finally made it. Welcome back to another episode of Podium Talk. I'll keep it brief because you got a lot of content to get through right here. We're going to break this Cnats preview up into two episodes because we went on about the women for about an hour and a half, and I think the men's is also around that, maybe a little longer. But overall, a lot of great content, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Podium Talk.
Welcome back to another phenomenal episode of Podium Talk. We have a guest today. Best guest we've ever had, guarantee. I say it every episode, but best episode we'll ever have. We got a Cnats preview coming out to you. Introduce yourself, Ethan.
Hello, friends, Georgia lifters. My name is Ethan. I was a Georgia Tech lifter for 3.5 years before I graduated. I now live in New York, so I have the title of honorary Georgia lifter. I was a big into GT barbell. I was the powerlifting co-captain with the Miss Lilia Bingham, and I bestowed that title onto Grayson. I think my biggest kind of stand in Georgia now is the people that I coach. So Grayson is one of the people that I coach. I coach Ivan Liu, who I'm sure we'll get into later, him and Josh. And then there's, I just keep up with the crew. So I think that's why I was brought on was to yap about all of the Georgia Tech lifters. So yeah, that was me. And then as a lifter, I'm 100 kg, 21, and I have long
Fuck?
arms.
You're
So
21?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
actually crazy. Okay.
yeah.
Damn.
I
Okay.
know it was kind of a sell. I kind of wish that I stayed another semester because training is kind of falling together. So me and Grayson could have maybe had a good fight at the hundreds. I'm a new 100. I actually bought a scale yesterday and I weighed in at 214. So we'll get there eventually. But
Okay.
Sure.
So, Eli, training updates.
Yeah, we can do a training update. How you been, Tony?
Same old, bro. No, yeah, nothing crazy tomorrow. Week 4 out of 5, squat tomorrow. So
what are you looking at? What's
finally,
the top? What's the rep range?
oh, for a single, one
Okay.
single. So it's an RP8 single, probably gonna hit like 562, probably. And that should set me up pretty good for next week for a PR. But Eli, what about yourself?
Well, since we last recorded, I haven't trained at all, and I'm diving into the taper tomorrow. We recorded on Saturday. It was
Gotcha.
wasn't that far ago, but yeah, nothing new. Trying to stay healthy, trying not to get too sunburnt over the weekend, but we're here. We got to survive till next Sunday and hit depth, and then we're good.
Yes, sir.
How about you, Ethan?
Ethan.
How's your training been
Yeah.
going?
My training is actually the last couple of months has been as good as it's ever been for a couple of reasons. One is my gym is beautiful. I don't know if how closely anyone follows, but I go to a gym called JDI and all of the equipment there is from 2020 Worlds. So it's literally world level equipment. And that's just nice to have within reach every day. Also, I'm going up a weight class and my work pays for my lunch every day. So I get free Chipotle 5 days a week. So the protein is flowing pretty easily. So
Bro
I've had
finds a
I've had
new
a
way to
great
make
couple
me
of months.
jealous every day, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm honestly like so happy that it was perfect. That and then also structure, like life structure. I was kind of unstructured in college. And so now that I like am just forced to get my 8 or 9 and I eat the same thing, like same time every day, it makes it super duper easy. So schedule wise.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, sure.
Well, yeah. Well, I just wanted to let's have a little like a quick like summary, like how you started powerlifting out. Because me finding you, I have no idea. I don't know how like I came up across your, but I remember it was the video where you did
716.
yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. You did
Oh shit.
584 for 3 and
Oh,
then
her.
694 for 3, I think.
Yeah.
And you had the song Drake over. And I remember seeing it and I because I saw it, I was like, and I'm like, I'm in my little corner in Statesboro. I don't know anybody like up here at this point. So when I saw this guy, like I'm getting ready for state, like I feel like I'm the man. And I saw like this guy a weight class above me repping. No, like it was crazy. So yeah, like where the fuck did you come from, bro? Like,
I've basically have been powerlifting since the age of like 13 or 14. Um, I I was signed up for a competition in 2016 and then I tore my hamstring. So I've
ooh,
been doing it for a while. But when I tore my hamstring, I basically I didn't give up on it, but I took like a 3-year pause. And then back in freshman year of college, I was like, oh shit, this is actually kind of fun. So I started squatting again, started deadlifting again, started benching. Um,
Mm.
and so pretty quickly, I noticed I was like, oh, this is actually fun. So I tried out my first competition. I met two GT barbell people. I don't know if you guys know Tomo Hiro, the GOAT.
I do
Um,
know him. I do know him.
yep.
Yes.
Yep. Tomo. So I met Tomo at my first meet, and then I met Jacob Blevins. I don't know if you guys know Jacob Blevins.
I just saw his name on the roster.
Yep. Bunch of goats. So those were the first people that I met in my first meet, and then my second meet was it's a first meet. I didn't have a belt, I didn't have wrist straps, like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But come my second meet, I put up at 82 at 19 years old. I put up 622.5, which was pretty solid for a couple years ago. I know there's a bunch of kids now who just kind of bitch that, but I was pretty proud of the total back then. Um, and that was at the one of the first Valhalla awaits. So I met Drew Cargill, I met Soul, a bunch of goats there as well. And then I did Cnats, and Cnats was really fun. I got third, and I think I put up 650. And then since then, I've just been in a perma bulk, just hit the next weight class, go up, because I've found that at every meet I go to, I am always the tallest one there. And
Hmm.
always like super skinny. Like I remember when I was doing my 82.5 team Nats, I was 6'1", and I was going against Donovan Spears, who is maybe 5'3", and his quads were just the size of my waist. And so since then, I just have been in a constant calorie surplus, nonstop. And so you caught me, Tony. That video was after my first 90 meet, which was a considerable amount of progress from my Teen Nats meet, and that was before my Cnats. So it was during the prep for Cnats, and I, Tony, came across your training at that states meet that you were prepping for. So we kind of came across each other at the same time, because I remember I was at the states meet. I don't think I was handling, but I was just watching. And you loaded 661, and I almost shit my pants because I'm like, oh fuck, Georgia lifters are like that.
Yeah,
But
no, that's I didn't know you. I knew you saw my deadlift because that's what we
yeah,
talked about when I met you. I didn't know you
yeah,
saw my training prior though. That's no shot you
yeah.
did because I feel
No, I
like
had not seen your training prior. The
okay,
first, yeah, because I was
yeah,
also kind of in my own little bubble. But
yeah,
whenever you threw up 300 kg as an attempt, I was like, oh shit, I gotta know who this is. So then I
yeah.
started. Yeah,
That was when I first started taking it like more serious, I guess. And looking back,
yeah,
it probably I remember like literally like I just wanted to like shock people. So I remember I did 606 for my opener.
yeah.
And I had my girlfriend at the time handling me, so she like didn't know shit, like she didn't know what to do. So I'm in there like amped like all the way up, like I just smoked 606, like I know like that was the heaviest like deadlift in my weight class as an
Yeah,
opener.
yeah,
Um, so I was like, I'm like ready to go. So I'm like, fuck it, like let's do 300. So I made that 25 kilo jump, and I remember everybody was like so scared because that was like that was not a sensible jump. I had hit 661 once at that
yeah,
point. Um, but it went pretty good, I guess. I picked it up. So,
yeah,
but
yeah. It put some fear into my heart for sure. And I
and then you realize I was 21. And you're doing 804 at 21 now, so
not
you're
quite.
good.
We'll get there eventually. We'll get there.
But
That's the goal. That's the goal. But
yeah,
um,
anyways,
yeah.
so yeah, you said you were prepping for CNETs. Obviously this is a CNETs preview, so uh I don't know, like what was that experience like for you? I mean, going all the way out to Arlington, uh are you expecting
Cnats
anything?
or Cnats, I think was in. Oh yeah, it was in Arlington, Texas. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. So I had the video that you came across are actually pretty close to my current PRs. I was kind of on one during that prep and also doubles. But I came to the harsh realization that I was squatting like an inch or two high, and that was very beneficial for me. And dropping that inch or two on squat was pretty difficult. So I've been kind of recovering from that over the last year. But I kind of came into that Cnats with the highest of expectations. I was like, I'm gonna do some crazy shit. I'm gonna blow it up. All while like my pauses were short, my deadlift was not locked out, my squats were high. Because at that time I was self-coached, and before that I was coached by my friend Jeff, who he's in my opinion, one of the smartest people. Like he's done a great job in the powerlifting space, but he had not heard of powerlifting before, a year ago. So I didn't have any, it was all kind of self-made at that point, and I didn't have anyone to like tell me no.
Keep you accountable. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So on all three, I kind of shit the bed at CNATs, and unfortunately, I made after probably 70 kg of gym PRs, I came out with a 5 kg meet PR. Um, yeah. And so that, unfortunately, a year ago is still my best meet total to date, because in September I did junior nats and I was not
Yeah.
able to I was not able to hold on to a deadlift. So I still need to avenge the 732.
Okay. Yeah. So no, I was just curious because I remember being excited to see you at CNETs as well. I
Yeah.
do remember that it was a tough day. Um, but that is an interesting point that you made there. You were self-coached, and like I feel like people like it is kind of tough for those people that don't have anybody, yeah, like you said, to keep themselves accountable and like really, especially since you're doing these crazy numbers. Like I never would have told you. I never would have been like, dude, I never would have been like, oh, bro, like make sure you get deeper on your
Yeah.
584 for three. Because at the
Yeah.
point, I was like, I don't know when I'm touching 584. So yeah, I could see why that like definitely smacked you in the face. And you almost made it perfect because you had a perfect day at Raw Nats. And then
Yeah. It
you
was
just,
allegedly perfect. It was pretty upsetting. The 6 for 6 was okay, but they were well below what I had done in the gym, like 5 and 7.5 below. So yeah, I've never really had a meet where I came in and I was like, holy shit, I've hit meet PRs, or no, I mean all-time PRs on everything, and left feeling like super happy.
yeah,
So after CNATs, I reached out to SSTT, Rondell, and Sanjeev. And since then, we've like formulated all the plans on what we can do to finally like put one together. And so I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen. Um,
okay.
yeah. But yeah, Raw Nats was not good. Not
Yeah,
good.
so how has that been working under Strength Studios? Because that's also something I'm curious about. Do you work directly only under Sanjeev, or does Rondell have any? Like you mentioned Rondell as well. Does he have any say in that, or
Yeah. So it's SSTT as a group. I only interact with Sanjeev. Um, but from what Sanjeev has told me, there's like minimal but non-trivial amount of overlap where Rondell might come with a question to Sanjeev, what do you think about this? And Sanjeev might hit up Rondell. So I don't know what effects Rondell has had, but I interact with Sanjeev. Sanjeev is my coach. But they do work as a team, as a duo, oftentimes. And of course they have like similar philosophies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
okay? Because I was curious about that because I know Rondell has like people like I know he coaches Liam
yeah,
Newell,
Jamal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously Jamal.
Monsters.
So I just
Terrible.
assumed you were just because I remember and I actually got to meet Sanjeev at Raw Nats and that was cool. So how was that transition for you from being self-coached to going to being under like a high level coach?
Yeah. I had reached out to SSTT originally because I was just like looking around at who I wanted to be, and I wanted to be Liam Newell but like with a bench press.
Okay.
And then I
Yeah.
look at everyone that they coach.
They're
Um
deadlifters. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a deadlift
exactly.
central. Yeah.
And it works. They know exactly what they're doing when it comes to the deadlift, whether it be, a power bar or a deadlift bar. But um I looked at, I'm like, oh, Jamal deadlifts 1,000, Rondell deadlifts 900, Liam Newell is literally 1882 and touching 800, Johnny Cott. So I was like, okay, these guys know what they're doing with their deadlifts. And so I reached out and immediately I was so cheesed. One of the happiest days of my life was I send Sanjeev my SBD day and he comes back with 3 20-minute videos going over 20-minute video on the squat, 20-minute video on the bench, 20-minute video on the deadlift where he's drawing out on an iPad. And so I was like, this is exactly where I need to be. Because I have a huge amount of respect for kind of intelligent, kind of science-based, very methodical and like data-oriented type stuff or type coaching. And so whenever he whips out and starts talking about words that I have to look up on Google, uh, I was that's exactly where I want to be. So he had won me over right away, and he's won me over. I think I'm getting close to a year, if not a little past the year with him. And obviously, I'm a little more advanced than I was when I was self-coach, but I think he's done an incredible job of, keeping the progress at a high rate while also making sure that I'm pausing my bench presses and giving me technique, advice and such to make that easier. So we've undergone an incredible amount of like technique construction on all three, especially the deadlift. And my kind of the way that I approach those 3 lifts technically has just been completely revamped because of Sanjeev. So Sanjeev is the GOAT. And then I know a ton of Georgia Tech lifters have also followed in my steps and reached out to SSTT. Quick shout outs to Adam Khalil, Shreyas Pani, Jordan John. I'm missing a couple. But those are the 3 that come to mind. There's a bunch of GOATs in SSTT with me. Josh Jenkins. And the reason that, those Georgia Tech kids go out, it's because they kind of have the science-based mindset. And that's what, Georgia Tech kids are often going to respond well to. So
Okay. Yeah, that's
lovely,
beautiful.
lovely
Yeah.
duo.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I didn't that's great to see that you got such a good relationship with Sanjeev and 20
Yeah.
minute videos. That's real. That's dope.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no, I think everybody would say that you're definitely because that was one thing about like you were strong, but yeah, you could tell there was,
There's some
especially with your
difference.
deadlift, it was like it's so hard to like really admit that though, because it was just such a freak, it was such freak strength that it was
Yeah.
like no one's ever gonna point that finger and be like, oh, like he's only pulling 740. I mean he's pulling 740, but like with that tech, that's terrible or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
that's really dope that that worked out for you. And I'm sure as a coach now yourself, you're like benefiting like crazy, like with
Yeah.
guys under you. I'm sure they're because I know Grayson, I know Grayson's like the main one, and I'm actually very curious about that relationship.
Yeah.
Um, because we've heard a little bit from his end, but like I know that's like also kind of I don't know. It seems like you and Grayson are kind of like a Rondell and Sanjeev, kind of like
Yeah. At times. I had listened to the pod and I was like, Grayson, what the fuck? Because I feel like he's right. He does have a strong hand in his training. Um, but I think that's just a normal client athlete relationship at the end of the day.
okay,
Where if your coach isn't listening to your feedback and making changes based off of it, then it's a bad coach and you're in the wrong spot. I definitely would agree that like he has more hand in his training than I have in mine when I'm talking to Sanjeev, because obviously like, I've been doing it for 2 years. Sanjeev's been doing it for 10 years at the highest level. So it is definitely really kind of co-companionated when it comes to his and I listen to his ideas. But I think it ends up being kind of the a pretty typical coach athlete relationship at the end of the day.
okay,
But
no, okay, yeah, that's I've always was curious about that because I was like I always like the way Grayson made it seem dead like he was like basically
Co-coaching.
kind of like self-coach, kind of like you, but like
yeah, I don't know if it's
you would
self-coach. It's
yeah, okay, so
I
it's
agree
cleared up.
65-35 is a good split, but I think it's just I try to listen to feedback and we implement what he says for sure.
And then with Ivan, are you more like okay, you're gonna do this?
Yeah, I'm a little more demanding.
Okay.
Yeah. So with Grayson, we have figured him out a couple months ago, and his blocks are looking similar because we've kind of figured out a rhythm. I've been coaching him for like a year and a half now. So at this point, we're at the point where, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, and we're gonna keep doing what works. With Ivan, I've had him for about 4 or 5 blocks, and we're not there yet. There's still some experimentation left to do before he's kind of dialed in to what's perfect. So yeah, at this point, I kind of have a stronger hold. I obviously listen to his feedback, how he feels, but then I'll kind of take that feedback and formulate the plan. Whereas with Grayson, he'll take the feedback, help me formulate the plan, and then we execute the plan. But yeah, it's a little more, I don't know, authoritarian with Ivan for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely how it has to be. I feel I relate completely with that because I have Jacob. Me and you, I feel like relate on that because I have Jacob. He's also in 82. He's in my weight class,
Yeah.
just like Grayson's in yours. And I have more experience, and I have obviously the knowledge of other coaches and stuff. Um, but Jacob still is like a great athlete and does his own research. So he does. I don't think it's 65-35, but it's
Yeah.
definitely more than all my other people like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
They know what they're
they
talking about. So you let them do when they know what they're talking about for sure. It's all about the outcome for sure.
yeah, very individual. So okay, I was just curious about that. And I don't know about yeah, I mean, I kind of want to know, or Eli, do you have any questions? I feel like I've been like just hammering.
No, I mean, I just want to say, like, we have you on this podcast for many reasons. One, you were one of the most known lifters in Georgia, being at the level you were, lifting the way you were. I mean, just having your deadlift, I mean, you're going to be known. Being in Atlanta, you're going to be known. But I don't think there was a single person I talked to who's like, "Oh, have you met Ethan?" Or have you said we never met, but like they're like, "Have you met him?" I was like, "No, I never met him, but I
Yeah.
know of him." But yeah, but you also have that experience at national meets, so you're kind of the perfect guest for this podcast. So
Yeah.
great to have you here. But
Yeah.
let's
Thank
talk
you.
about engineering for a second.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm down.
How'd you get out of there that fast? How'd you get out of tech that fast?
So I'm actually not an engineer. I'm computer science.
Mm.
And so I came in with 5 credits. I went to a shitty little high school in Missouri, middle of nowhere. And
Hmm.
so I came to Atlanta with no credits, and I just kind of brute forced it, where my life was sleep, go to the gym, do homework, for quite a bit. And what really helped me personally was I just randomly roomed with 3 of the smartest human beings on the planet and at tech. And so whenever like I was struggling, I could just rely on them pretty easily. So and I'm living with one of them right now. So it's some of the smartest human beings on the planet, and I can attribute getting out in 3.5 a lot to them, and a lot to just kind of delusion, thinking that I could take these 18, 19 credit hour semesters every semester. So delusion and smart friends, super helpful for sure.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, man, that's
And
crazy. That's yeah, 21, graduated from tech, computer science, and now you're living in New York, right?
Yeah, Manhattan. Yeah.
Okay, because I want to talk about that a little bit too, because I've seen you training. I feel like in DMV, or is that
I've
no?
been to
That's where
DMV. Yeah, that's
yeah,
where
that's where
Natasha.
Natasha trains, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep.
because you guys both, because yeah,
Yeah, she's
you
in
guys both.
DC. It's an easy
Okay.
Amtrak away. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay, that's sweet. But
yeah.
yeah. So how has that been? Like, I remember you had an internship, I think, over the summer.
Mhm. Yep.
How's
So I'm working where I interned, at the same place, because the computer science job market is less than pretty right now, to put it nicely. So I had randomly landed that internship. I actually had 250 internship applications, and I got 2 interviews. One of them at Walmart, and one of them at the place I work right now, which is a hedge fund called Balyasny Asset Management. Um, and so Balyasny paid considerably better and was in New York, and I actually love it. So I'm kind of in a software engineering, data engineering role. And I think I just completed my 7th week, and I've learned more in 7 weeks than I did in my 7 semesters at Tech. So I love my job. Like, I actually am excited to wake up every day and go yap to my my software nerds. It's fun.
Okay, man. Yeah, that's great. I'm happy for you. And yeah, New York is it's crazy because I remember you told me that. I was like, wow, like this guy is like traveling across the country, gonna go train up there with. There's some real powerlifters up there, man. Like
Yeah,
obviously Bob and I think Taylor's up
Taylor,
there. Atwood, I think
Delaney, Gavin.
Delaney, Gavin. Yes, all those. Um, so that's freaking sick, man. But
Yeah, and actually two at the gym that I go to, because those other guys are in Queens and Brooklyn. Um, if you guys watch the Powerlifting America Nationals, Chelsea Savitt, who I think got second or third in the 67.5 kg women's, put up an insane total, insane dots. And then Zach Tico Stanzo, who got third at the 75 kg Raw Nationals. So those are the I've never actually talked to Chelsea, but Zach is my kind of main training partner. He's 75 kg, squats 600, benches near 4, and then deadlifts low 6. So he's a beast.
oh,
That's sick.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's dope. Hey, shoot, I mean, you're in there with yeah, with a top three raw nats, and it seems like yeah, like he's right there with you. I guess on squat and bench.
Yeah, I know. It actually
But
sucks.
probably be pretty. It probably. I mean, trust me. I'm sure he would give up some of that for your deadlift. But before I definitely want to get all the questions out of the way before we get into.
Yeah.
So we don't need to talk about raw nats too much, but no. I mean, is there anything in CNAT since you competed last year, and obviously you did get to experience raw nats. I don't know. Is there anything maybe this year, it being in Atlanta, like anything you're looking forward to? Besides, I mean, I'm sure you're looking forward to handling and like,
Yeah, shit.
but like, is there anything about the meet itself maybe that you're kind of looking forward to?
The battles that we'll get into later. I think that's one of the best things about Collegiate Nats. Actually, last Collegiate Nats, Natasha had handled me, and her and I agree that, you know, that is kind of the most tense space that we've ever been in our lives.
Oh,
Because yeah, it was, and Kyle was there too. I think Kyle might have been on a different platform, but I was on the not the primetime platform, but the highest qualifying total platform. So I was with, everyone who's gonna podium. Uh, and it was scary. It was tense because in one corner you have Josh Hall screaming rap lyrics, and then on the other corner you have Brian Harwell just sitting like ready to smoke 804 for a set of 3, and
yeah.
and all of their coaches are legendary. Like Joey Flex was over there watching, Sean Noriega's over there watching, because it's actually primetime TV watching all of these 20-something-year-olds just go at absurd looking weights.
In nineties was definitely the most like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was the class last year.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
okay. I didn't. So it was like that because at Raw Nats, I feel like you were a lot more
I was
like you.
chilling.
Yeah, you were playing around. It looked like for definitely for squat and bench, you were like because yeah, like you were
I
like
was
just
just
like
happy to
playing
be there.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just happy to be there. At CNATS, it was not like that. You could cut the tension with a knife. So I just hope they're able to replicate that environment. I hope there's some battles. I think I don't know what session the 90s are, but I would love to like just watch Kyle White and Seth Dasuki just standing backstage. That has to be a horrifying. I think that'll be a fun battle. Most of the classes, honestly, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think the tension in the air is kind of the thing I'm most excited for.
okay, sweet. Yeah, no, I mean I'm looking forward to that as well. I
Yeah,
didn't think about that how the battles are probably gonna be actually like a lot more personal.
it gets tense. Yeah, Ronats was not tense. CNats was tense.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, I guess we could just go ahead and get straight into the preview.
Yes, sir.
Dive on in it.
What we're here for. But let's start with the women's. So
So
Eli
44.
48.
40. Well, let's touch on 44 before we move on. 48 is our first Georgia women, but might as well talk about, 6 female 44s, I think.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that was the weight class. I, I thought 48 was the lowest one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, honestly, if you have 6 out of 1,200 lifters, that's kind of, and I think, yeah, 50% of them are from Texas, but I think it's a wrap. Anna Castro wins. We can move on. That's it. Good enough for
Yeah.
me.
That's
We
my
just gotta,
top.
yeah, we just gotta show them some love. Dive into the 48s. We have two 48s and we have a battle right off the bat. Georgia battle.
Yeah, both Georgia Tech lifters. Arshreya and Paige are the 48s representing Georgia. They're both Georgia Tech lifters. Um, I unfortunately left before I could get too intimate with their training. I know Paige had started powerlifting last semester. I think Arshreya had started this semester, so I'm not super aware with where both of them are at. But I do know that Arshreya is putting up some absurd numbers on her Instagram in training. She recently hit a 210 squat, which is 5 pounds above the state record. No bench to be posted, so that sounds like she's not a bench fan. And then she almost hit a 300-pound deadlift, which is way up from her DNA meet, where she squatted 181, went 1 for 3 on bench, and hit 260 on dead. So I think Arshreya is prepped and ready for an absurd meet. And then Paige, I know you're a dog. I know you go running before you hit your primary SBD days, but you don't post on your Instagram, so I have no information for you. But I'm excited for that battle. That one will be really fun. I think Paige came in with the higher qualifying total, but Australia has been definitely making up the ground. So that one will be fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. I noticed that she did make a lot of progress just from a quick look at her Instagram. But yeah, Paige doesn't post anything, so it's kind of hard to like bet on her. Um, but I don't know. I think I got a good feeling about Arshreya.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, just making sure I said it right. So okay,
Yeah.
that's
Paige
our
came in
two.
about, yeah, 40 pounds on the QT, but Australia has been making up the ground for sure.
Mhm. I believe they'll both be like right on edge of trying to get top 10. I don't know if one of them's going to make it or both of them. Either could happen depending on who shows up on the day. But in this kind of environment, top 10's an accolade at that point. It's not all about the podium from, 1,200 lifters, top 10's solid in your weight class. So that's kind of what we're going to see through most of our classes. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to pick a winner with these classes. 'Cause I'm not studied on their environments. But I'm gonna pick Paige. I'm with Paige. I don't know. Sounds good.
I'm gonna go with sorry, Paige. I'm gonna go with Arshreya when I have no info and Arshreya is going crazy like that. That's who I gotta stick with.
I'll probably
Don't get
go
to-
with Paige again. I'll probably go with Paige as well, just because the difference on the QT and Arshreya also just competed in DNA. So it's kind of hard to like imagine that Paige hasn't made any progress at all.
That's fair.
Um,
That's fair.
so, but no info. I don't really have too much of a dog in that fight, but I will look out and see who ends up winning that. Um, but Eli, we want to move on to 52.
52. So no Georgia lifters in the 52s, and it does look like a runaway for Marina, but I don't have much insight.
Yeah, no, Marina. Yeah, it's over. She used to be a 56. And I think she even had an American record squat at 56. So she actually's cut down to 52. And she already just did a meet recently at 52. So I guess she kind of got to test that weight cutout. And she came in great and ended up like having almost a perfect day. I think she went 8 for 9 and took a world record squat, unofficial, obviously. Took a world record, like world record USAPL squat, which was like 350, I think, at 114 pounds body weight, 52. I think that's what that is. And yeah, no, I think she'll just probably go and chip that world record again, and make it official. And but I don't know. I think she'll be top three best lifters. Honestly, I think she's really good. So coached by Matt Cronin from Powerlifting Now. So they know what they're doing over there. But that's all I really have to say about her.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, 52 is not no big battle there, but we can jump to 56s. And even though it's not a big battle between top three, but there is a top two that are decently close, 22 and a half kilos. I don't know any of them. It's a PA lifter and a Minnesota lifter, but Vicky
I'm
Zen and
very aware.
Rivka,
Yep.
you're
Sorry, you
very
got it.
aware. No, you got it.
I,
If you're aware, you got it.
I'm very aware of the Minnesota lifter. So my girlfriend Natasha, she had left flex and was looking for a new coach. And what she did when she was looking for the new coach was she looked at the clientele. And Rivka was one person that stood out to her as someone that she kind of wants to be like, make progress similarly as. And the person who coaches Rivka is Carrington Amati. And so that was one of the few coaches that she had kind of talked with and you know, was about to begin training with. And I know Rivka just makes absurd progress. I trust her coach wholeheartedly. I think Carrington's a great coach, and she has the higher QT. Um, I will. I actually have Rivka in my top three best lifters, so I think I'm gonna take Rivka to have a monster meet here.
Yeah, no, she definitely. Rivka. Let's see. I'm trying to see her recent meet numbers. I think in October she put up 325 pounds on the squat, 242 pounds on bench, 242 pounds on bench, and then 402 pounds on deadlift as a 56 kilo. I believe that's 123 pounds body weight. So I definitely have her also. I do have her at top three best lifters, female as well. I think those lighter weight classes are like they got it nice, man. They're really strong, and obviously they're just 100, like right over 100 pounds. So that formula goes crazy. But no, Rivka, yeah, Rivka is. Somebody actually didn't know she was carried on coached by Carry Tons. I had no idea. I didn't even know he was like a notable coach. And you said,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said Natasha's coached by him as well, or she was just
No,
looking at.
so
Okay,
Natasha, like a month or two ago, was looking for a new coach,
okay,
and he was one of the two that
okay.
she did not end up going with him. But it's not because he's not a great coach. I have full belief in him as a coach. The conversations they had like impressed me a lot. I think he's amazing. Um so yeah, I believe in Rivka heavily. That's one of Natasha's idols. So I'm gonna back her every single time.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, we'll pick apart the best lifters later on, but that's definitely
Yeah, she's a heavy hitter.
yeah, for sure. I definitely have her up there. Um Eli, you wanna go on to 60s
Yeah,
now?
so 60 we can actually talk about for a minute. We got 5 lifters in Georgia, which is our deepest class for females, and it's 72 lifters overall. We don't have anybody in the top 10 area, but we got, I think, 5 that are pretty tightly packed, if we're being honest. I mean, I think and maybe in Tony's opinion, we have a top 2 laid out. But from Georgia, we have Jenny Lou, we got Taylor, Corinne, Mina, and Jules. So Jules doesn't have a QT. She's gatekeeping her QT in there, but I guess Tony knows more about that. You want to speak on her before we get into it? And Taylor, yes.
Now, because I do have a lot of personal affiliation, like Eli said, I have two clients in this weight class, Taylor Hunley and Julia Olenichek. Fuck, I just stuttered on her name. She's definitely gonna be like, wow, you forgot my name. Oh, I'm fucked. I'm done. But anyways, I do want to see where you guys think about these spots because maybe you guys aren't obviously you guys aren't into it as much as I am, but I will drop some numbers. So I will start with Corinne. Corinne has a 307 and a 307.5 qualifying total going in. We actually did talk about her at for the January meet preview, I believe.
Mhm.
But she, I will say, isn't. I don't know unless how much progress she's made. I don't think she's too much in range of our other lifters here. She may be able to have a battle with Mina. I believe, yeah, I think her and Mina will definitely have a little tussle there, but I don't think she's in range of Jenny, Julia, and Taylor, to be honest. I could be wrong. Corinne doesn't even have an Instagram. So, Corinne, I'm sure somehow she's going to hear about this. Don't get mad at me because I just have no idea. I can't, I will say that Taylor and Jules have made like progress I didn't even expect that they were going to make. So, it's kind of hard for me to like back her. But moving on to Mina, same situation. I think Mina actually kind of went off the grid like last month. I looked recently at her Instagram and I don't think she's posted anything. but uh, Mina has a 295 kilo QT, but that's not indicative of her strength. I think that was from a very long time ago. So Mina definitely has progressed. She has a pretty good deadlift. I think she's pulling low threes somewhere like 330, something like that. Uh, Squatting middle twos like 250, and then benching around a plate like 132. I think around 138, if I had to guess. So honestly, I don't really see her with the top three, Jenny, Taylor, and Jules. Holy shit, she's gonna kill me. But anyways, um, Corinne and Mina, that should be a good one. I think I have them like beneath Jenny, and but Jules has a 322 and a half kilo total. I believe that's right under Jenny Lou by 2.5 keys. Jenny had a 325. So QT wise, they're super neck and neck. Taylor actually got a QT from state last year. So over a year ago is her QT, and she was able to get 312 and a half all the way back then. Um, Now being Taylor's coach, I've been coaching Taylor's for about 10 weeks, I think. And prior to that, she was not a power lifter. So we basically kind of had to start over again. But I will say she still is going to meet PR by a lot. But honestly, I think Taylor's looking at middle two squats, 260 ish, 140, 148 bench, and then a 386 deadlift, I believe. She's 100% going to deadlift last. Uh, and then
Yeah, that deadlift to the squat and bench ratio is sounding like me. I'm a huge fan of this lifter.
yeah, Taylor is like a maniac, dude. I don't get her. She's like a thoughtless, like just like if you saw her peak week squat, I wish I could just show it to you guys because you'd probably get a good laugh. It was a 10-second off program. I will say that it was off program. I gave her a load cap at 248, and she said, "You know what? I think I could do 265." She did it, but it took 10 seconds. It took about 10 seconds. So I hope she's hearing this because don't ever do that again because she almost lost her life doing that. So yeah, she's probably that was a gym total of 350. I'll say that. She did 350 in the gym. Uh,
Shit. Yeah.
she's gotten a lot better. And Jenny Lou, Ethan might know
I have
more than
zero information on Jenny.
okay.
She's a CRC gremlin. I see her at the gym. I think she is focused on bodybuilding for most of her lifting career. Her meet that she didn't wear knee sleeves, so maybe if she throws on a pair of Inzers, she can get a bump on the squat. I definitely think that she's super new and she has a super high base because she's been packing on muscle for years. But I have no visibility on her training, no visibility on her coaching. But I do trust in our Georgia Tech lifters. But if she's if Taylor's putting up 350 and can deadlift near 4 at 60 kg, like that's a hard person to not root for.
Yeah, no, I will say Jenny is definitely when I saw her on the roster, I was like, who is obviously the first person I thought of was Ivan. And I was like, is this like his sister? Who the fuck is this? Like
No.
she beat Jules. I've never heard of this girl. So went and
Yeah.
look, and like Ethan said, she's squatting 281, no knee sleeves.
Yeah.
like
One
like
of
over double
the
body weight squat with no knee sleeves. I'm like, oh, she's a threat. I was like, okay, well, she's definitely like, not even if she got stronger. Like, yeah, if give her some inzers and she maybe can feel comfortable squatting 300. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I did see her squat 297. I saw that for sure. I know I saw that. Um, can't remember how hard it was, but that is definitely the biggest squat out of the bunch. Um, so bench 155. I saw in her last meet. I don't know how much she's put on there. If she has added 7.5 kilos, if she can bench 170 plus, she might be a favorite. Might. Um, Her deadlift, I don't know. I know she's pulled 295 like in that rec gym with like bumpers and everything. So I don't know how that transfers over to kilos and how much progress she's made.
The heavier it
Um,
gets, the worse it translates. But I believe in 300, you're not going to see too much of a drop off.
yeah. You're right. You're probably it's not gonna be a
Yeah,
huge
it's good enough.
difference. So we're seeing something in a 300 deadlift from her, probably over her squat. So I'd estimate probably somewhere in that 350 range plus. Um, However, Jules is capable of a 290, 286 squat, 170 bench. She has hit that on multiple occasions now. That's like that number that she just kind of keeps hitting over and over again. But 170 is definitely there on bench. And then her deadlift is actually blowing up. She's now pulling 308, whereas before 10 weeks ago she was pulling 281. So her her QT is also not indicative of her strength. She's gotten a lot better. So based off of that, I don't know where you guys are gonna rank these girls. I don't even know if you guys listen to me because I just
Oh,
gave you guys a whole
I've been taking
mouthful.
notes, big man.
Okay, I'm thankful that I'm over here talking to two really smart engineering guys that can actually pay attention to numbers, and because if you guys were doing this to me, I'd be like, wait, what did you say about her again? But from
It's because we took calculus. That's the
Yeah.
difference maker here.
I want to see an unbiased, I want to see an unbiased ranking of this five before I say anything.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Eli?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at like things you got to consider when you're looking at these QTs is when they were got and kind of how much time they would have to progress and how much like a lot of these lifters are like Jules where they qualified at what meet was that? Is that Southeastern? And then what is that? A 12-week turnaround to Cnats? Something like that. February math. Who knows?
Uh,
But
12 weeks. Yeah, she's had about Jules. You're talking about Julia?
yeah.
Julia and Corinne both had a 12-week turnaround.
Mm-hmm. And then Jenny's a little before that, so she's had some time to cook. I haven't seen her training. Jules's QT is 322. I've seen her videos. I've seen Taylor's videos. I'm kind of in between because you don't like a lifter you don't know about kind of just sounds enticing. So I'm thinking, I think it's Corinne. Don't clip me. Corinne and Mina on bottom, and then the top three is pretty solidified in my mind. I'll go. I believe in Jules. I don't know anything about Jenny, but I'm liking the idea. And then I'll go Taylor. I did see Taylor and Jules's last squats. I don't know which was harder, but one was worse, in my opinion.
Okay, well,
I'm gonna go
okay,
Jules, Jenny, Taylor.
beautiful. Thank you, Eli. Ethan, give me your top five. I guess
I'm
you.
gonna root for the deadlift specialist. I think Taylor's gonna take a W here. I also think that she just has that dog in her, ignoring the cap and just smacking another 7.5 kilos on top. So I believe also, you know, she's able to grind, she's able to you load 275 on the day, 270, she's gonna get through it. I have full belief. And second, I think I'm gonna throw in Jenny, especially, and I'm not sure who's coaching her, if she's following Joel programming, who is the GT Barbell coach. If she's following Joel programming, I might take Jenny over Taylor, but I'm gonna go Taylor, Jenny, and then Julia.
Okay, so context, like Eli mentioned, context is obviously a lot here, a lot of different interesting situations here. Like you said, Jenny with that huge, she's jacked. She's definitely got the biggest base out of all these women. Um, so she could just show up and have I don't know how many kilos on her total. She really could. Um, Me personally, like all bias aside, just from what I'm seeing, like straight in my face, it's really hard to like think that Jenny could beat Jules or Taylor because I don't think Jenny is going to be able to pull as much as either one of them. Because Jules pulled 308 with a considerable amount of room in the tank there, in my opinion. So honestly, I think Jules is going to deadlift after Jenny and before Taylor. So I think that being said, Taylor or Jules are locked in at number one for sure for me. One of those two. My goal is to make sure that they're the top two because they both want to be the best 60 collegiate girl in Georgia. They want to win out of this five. And then they both want a 400 dots. Uh, so the number that they would need at if they weighed in exactly at 60 kilos is I believe 360. Uh, I believe Jules is going to be a little bit lighter than that, so I think she is going to need a little less. Her goal is looking like 357 and a half. And Taylor is obviously going to try to do something of that, like tie that or beat that. Wouldn't surprise me if Taylor and I try to go for 360. There's no fucking way Jenny Lou can total 360 fucking kilos. It's very hard
Throw
for
some
me to.
Inzers on her, bro. Throw some Inzers. She's jacked out of her mind. I have full belief. I have full belief. She's gonna come back benching 200, and you're gonna shit your pants, Tony.
Yeah, I'm scared. If
I'm
I'm
kidding.
like, yeah, you're wrong. You're right. Like she's jacked. Like she's a bodybuilder. I saw her Instagram. Like if she came in and benched 190 plus, I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. But like I said, if she's benching sub 170, I think she's third 100%. Um, between Taylor and Jules, I it's hard to put a finger because, like you guys mentioned, Taylor is like she's a dog. And also, before her deadlift and squat, she actually did work like a 12-hour shift at a hospital. And she asked me if she could move her days around, and I like forced her. I told her I was like, nah, like we gotta lift on these days. Like we're competing next week. Uh, and she still hit those PRs like after a 12-hour shift, and I was like, shit. So we might be even stronger than we think. But she has a bigger weight. I won't lie, Taylor has a bigger weight cut than the others. So I don't know how that will transfer to her squat. But it's between Jules and Taylor, in my opinion. I think Taylor having the last deadlift is gonna be
A good tie break.
it's gonna be a really big benefit for her as well. But I also do think Taylor is a little ambitious on that deadlift. And if we fuck up anywhere, she'll probably want to even deadlift even more. And honestly, like I kind of want to see what she can deadlift. Like she hasn't failed to lift ever since she's been working with me. So I kind of want to just see if we're, if what, like, because the open state record is 397. And at one point, Taylor actually mentioned to me she wanted to pull that. And I'm kind of like, dog, like, I kind of want to see that. I don't know. So honestly, 1 and 2, Jules and Taylor, I'm not going to rank those two. I'd like them both to be there. It doesn't matter to me which one wins. I want them both to win, but unfortunately, that can't happen.
But
And
you
then, of
you
course,
get to
Jenny at
choose who
third.
wins, though. You get to pick the winner, right? Basically.
Kind of, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna give Taylor the opportunity to win 100%. Like, no matter what, Taylor's gonna go for the win. Um, it's just a matter if it's gonna be too much. Because if it's more than 386, it is a very big risk. I do think 386 is a comfortable, like a good day deadlift for her. But anything over that, I think it might be a little bit too much. So Jenny comes in and does something where we have to pull 391 or 396, it might be questionable. If Jules does the same thing, if she turns around and has like an incredible taper and shows up, which honestly she could, I think she's just so well balanced. Jules is that she kind of gets that. It's kind of like a Keiko like vibe, like she's not the worst at any particular lift, but she's also not the best, or she is the best at bench. But um, I don't know, man. I mean, I think I think honestly, yeah, I'm not gonna pick because they're gonna hate me.
Wow.
They're gonna
Wow.
fucking hate. They actually are gonna hate me if I pick one over the other, and I think that's kind of messed up, right? Like I think
Yeah,
those.
I wouldn't pick if I were you. That's
Yeah,
valid.
so I don't know, but I want them both to do great. I want them both to have a 400 dots. That's what I want. So yeah, I'm sorry. We talked about that for a minute, but I'm
Mhm.
just passionate about that weight class.
I
So
Yeah.
respect it. I love it.
now 67, or do you want to talk about anybody outside of Georgia, or I don't know any
We can
60s
just say
outside of
that
Georgia.
the top Q2, like our people are looking around like 360, 370ish as like the meat of their lifetime. That's what we're shooting for. the top QTs do lie around 457, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who that was. You can type that
Sophia
in.
Fortin. Sophia Fortin.
Yeah.
I
So
think Sophia and Logan have a possibility for, best lifter.
Oh,
So that's a
yes,
tough
yes,
weight
yeah.
class. We'll talk about that later.
yeah,
We'll talk about that later though.
we just had to mention
Logan
it.
is great, yeah.
We
Yeah,
talk about
Logan.
these battles. These battles are a little lower than the top class, so but they're worth the watch. They're worth the watch. You're local, you'll hear it. It'll be fun. But yeah, we can
I
move on
agree.
to 67s because again, we got battles. We're bringing 4 67s. We got Juliet, Lilia. I don't even know how to pronounce her name, and Erin Howell, UJ left there. Who wants to try her name?
Who? Which one?
I would tell you if I
Whistle,
could.
Whistle Guerrero. She's from your school, bro. You should know her.
No, that's Classic City.
He's talking to me.
No, I'm saying
Oh.
Eli.
I mean, I wish I was a participant, but nonetheless, this is pretty much between Lilia and Juliet, and it's pretty much between Juliet and Juliet. Um, no hate, but I mean, it's Juliet.
Yeah, Juliet's a beast. I think the more interesting conversation here is Juliet and
That's
Janie
what.
Kovacs, and then the other couple of 67s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eli died for a second there. So Juliet has some ambitious goals, and if these ambitious goals were to come to light, I personally, when I was doing the math, I think Janie Kovacs is still going to run away with it. But Juliet is a strong contender for not only podium, but getting second, which in a class where you have a 67.5 kg woman squatting 4, benching 2, deadlifting 5, getting second in that class is a hell of an accomplishment. I think Juliet's going to put up something monstrous, PR the total by a lot. That one will be fun to watch.
For
And
sure, for sure.
piggybacking off of Ethan, I will say that the 67.5 class is the biggest class in the meet, men and women. There's 87 lifters, so if Juliet gets second out of 87, that's like,
Monstrous. Yeah.
yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I do agree with Ethan. At one point, I did think it's easy to think like Juliet really could win when you're just looking at Juliet because her numbers are so good. Like I know she just deadlifted for
52.
52 and she benched 198, which in my opinion, I think the state record is like 209. So for a deadlifter, in my opinion, if I was 5 keys under the fucking bench record, I'd literally like I'd be okay with that. I could live with that for the rest of my life. Um, and then her squat is also, I believe, 380, Juliet.
She's hit 380. I think she's going to do considerably more than 380. I
Okay.
have big trust in the 390 to 400 range.
Okay. So yeah, hearing that, you're like, oh shit, like she could win. But
Yeah, Janie Kovac is. Yeah, I got Janie Kovac
yeah,
at 515, which is going to put I'm not going to talk about best lifter anymore, but Janie
Yeah.
Kovac is a monster of monsters. But Juliet also is a monster of monster.
yeah.
So
And then there's a few other 67s if we wanna
Yeah, we
that
can
are
yeah,
touch
still
on
in
them.
the mix. We've got a
Lily.
Midland,
Oh,
Jennifer,
gotcha.
yeah, Jennifer Benavides with a 465 QT. We have a Haley Clayton from Army with a 462 and a half. Uh, I know Haley. I think she benches 254, uh, which is just gonna be fun to see.
Yep.
So, but no, it looks like Janie's probably like won it if she hits a deadlift.
Yep.
Um, I don't know, and it sucks too because I know Juliet wanted that American record, but I think Janie is probably gonna end up deadlifting last for the 67 women. So, but Juliet's gonna do great. Lilia, I don't want to like forget about Lilia either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Lilia,
GOAT. She has
yeah,
had some of the most incredible training progress.
yeah,
Um, I'm a huge Lilia fan. Since the meet in January, which is not that long ago, she's since hit a 7.5 kg total or 7.5 kg PR on squat with 352. She had a 5 kg PR on bench and hitting 204, which is crazy. And then the deadlift really came up strong for her over the last 3 months. She She did miss her third, so this might seem a little inflated, but she had a 15 kilogram PR on deadlift with 380, which is just crazy to think about. Because I was training with her pretty often in September, or not in September, but last semester. And there were, you know, she was missing 330, missing 341. Like on squat, she would like be horrified to squat 308 by herself, like no spotters. And now just to see that she's turned into this. There's a dog getting abused outside. Sorry. Are you guys able to hear that?
Yeah, we can't hear
Okay, good. But now that she's, touching these mid threes, low twos, high threes, she's been one of my favorite lifters to watch over the last 6 months for sure. The progress is unlimited for her. So that one I'm super excited for. And then also, this isn't really a battle. I do coach a 67.5 kg lifter, Anna Hagiwara. She's the GOAT. She's been making some incredible progress over the last couple of months. One of my, obviously one of my favorite lifters to watch, because I watch every single video that she sends me. But she came across a back injury. I don't think she would have put up a humongous fight against Lilia. But I do think that, if Lilia had a bad day and I had a good day, it could have been a thing. But the injury has derailed us a little bit. And I think she's going to hit meet PRs on everything comfortably. But yeah, that will be a fun one to watch in the future as people who are kind of close to each other. But right now, I think Lilia has a strong hold, especially with that 380 deadlift. That was monstrous with room in the tank.
With room in the tank, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trust me, I'm delusional. I believe in crazy shit. And so does Lilia, and I think that's a good combo. I think 402 is gonna be loaded personally, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, I didn't know you coached somebody in this class. So she's from Florida
Yeah,
State?
she actually goes to UC Berkeley, but she has been to a Georgia Tech barbell practice. So I know the lifters there know and are Anna Hagiwara enjoyers. So she's known by the tech people. I don't know if she's known outside of that, but yeah, I just had to bring her up.
Okay. No, sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love that. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm glad you bring anybody that you're coaching up because
Yeah.
we need to keep an eye out for them as well. Because
Yeah.
yep. So for the 67s, I think that's do we have any others in Georgia that no in Georgia that we're missing?
We
Aaron
mentioned them
Howell and
all in the
Withall.
beginning.
I don't know too much about them honestly. Two classic city lifters, but looks like Withall has a 360 QT. So I don't know. I maybe she'll compete against your client. Your client. You said Arga. She had an interesting name, I think.
Wait, Anna Hagiwara. Sorry, Anna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
pretty basic first name, but yeah.
And okay, my bad. But yep, so that's it for the 67s because we did talk about yep. So let's move on to the 75s. In Georgia at least, we do have four lifters. We have a Sydney Forbes, a Leon Keon McDonald, an Ayla Teresi, and Samantha Yulsi. Not
Ulysses.
Ulysses. Okay, yeah, okay, that sounds a lot better. But looks like the favorite here is Ayla Teresi. She has a 442 and a half QT. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know her too well, but I did. I think, yeah, we looked up. Did we find anything on Instagram with her?
Yeah, I was able to. So when I was researching for this, I thought that Hannah was doing Cnats, but I'm stupid and misinformed. I know that. Oh, I have no information on Ayla. I just have her name and what she hit in comp. So I actually have no information, unfortunately. I do have information on the overall 75 kgs if you guys are interested in that, but I have nothing for Georgia's.
Well, from the looks of it, she actually okay. Yeah, this is interesting because Ayla actually just competed at Georgia State back in February. So she has a crazy turnaround. I think she has like an 8 week turnaround or so.
Yeah.
She actually was able to squat 355, bench 209, and deadlift 413. Honestly, in 8 weeks, how much can you ask for on top of that? Uh, no, honestly, 7 weeks, I think. Yeah, she had about a 7 week turnaround. So I
That's
don't know
great.
if she's gonna be able to, yeah, do much more on top of that, but she's definitely a strong lifter. So hopefully she shows up. If she PRs, that's great. That'd be kind of cool to see. But um, I think there is kind of like it looks like there's a little battle between Sydney and Leong. They both have very similar QTs. Sydney has a 327 and Leong
Yeah,
has
so
325.
you can just call her LK, but so
Oh,
she's a
okay.
Georgia lifter. Sydney Forbes, I do remember seeing at the Southeastern Collegiate Cup. LK's total was a long time ago, but she did like have some flare up on injuries pretty recently. But I know they're the bottom two from Georgia, but think I don't know, Sydney Forbes, I remember like most of her attempts looked really easy. And I think she had a lot more on the day. But I think I'll still take LK because UGA. So we'll go there. I'm not familiar with Ayla or Samantha. I think maybe Samantha. I don't know, but it's a
Yeah, no,
runaway for Ayla.
yeah, I did see Sydney. She did hit like, yeah, she definitely did do the January meet, so she had a pretty quick turnaround as well. I believe she hit a squat PR I saw recently. I know she's a big deadlifter. Like that's where she gets most of her total from, I believe. So I'm kind of interested to see that big conventional deadlifter.
Mhm.
It's always kind of cool to see a conventional deadlift specialist. But honestly, I think if LK has an injury, I think Sydney probably is gonna run away with that one just because she's looks like she's made a little bit of progress and she's healthy. I know she's healthy and she's a good deadlifter. So um, also, I think she's coached under Opal, so shout out them, shout out Elevate Strength. Um, but anyways, yeah, I think Ayla gonna run away with that. If you want to move on to the whole nation, Ethan, I believe you mentioned somebody that you know.
Yeah, I the top three. I have minimal information on the top three. And then I don't have a duck in the race. Is that the I don't know what it's called, but I
Something like
do
that.
Dog
have
in the
Something like
ring.
that.
Yeah,
dog in the race. I do have
Yeah.
one person that I'm rooting for over the others. First place actually is I don't have them in my top three best lifters, so we won't talk about them later. But Matilda has a qualifying total of 514 or 527.5 kg, which is 514 dots. So she's not to be fucked around with for sure.
yeah.
Um, and then also second place, and shout out to Natasha, by the way, for this research. I told her that we were researching and she gave me some info. But second place is a Carrington lifter. And you know how much I love and appreciate Carrington Amati. I think that she definitely, whatever she has a 492.5, which is not too far away from the 505 that Matilda has. I think, Carrington does very good with his lifters. So I think that she could be in the race as well. And the number three is my dog in this race, Jacqueline Arnold, aka Duck Legs on Instagram. When I went to DMV with Natasha, Jackie was one of the lifters there. Jackie's super cool, and she is a flex lifter. Struggles with squat, has been injured on squat for a while, but I think she's benching 275 and deadlifting mid to high fours. So I'm going to be rooting for Jackie for sure. I'm super excited to see. This is one of the more competitive weight classes for sure. I'm super excited.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you mention earlier that Hannah is not competing in Cnats?
Yeah, she has been hitting some heavier lifts, so I thought that she was, but I don't see her.
No, no, she
Oh,
is.
she's not.
She's yeah,
Oh,
she's
my fault, my
Pennsylvania.
fault. Shit. Oh, I looked up GA and I didn't see her there. Okay, yeah, Hannah is lifting.
Oh, so we actually had
So
to backtrack now, kind of, because that's a
yeah,
battle.
my
Oh,
fault. So I know. Okay, yeah, let's bring up Hannah. Okay, Hannah, Georgia Tech lifter. She's a beast. So her current meet PRs are 347 squat, 192 bench, and 385 deadlift. Her deadlift is comfortably in the fours. It looks like her QT is 420, and I know her most recent primary SBD day was 425.
yeah.
They were all kind of difficult, but I do know Hannah as a lifter, that doesn't necessarily mean it's at 10. So I don't know how much room in the tank, because that's impossible to tell with her because she's insane. But I do think that, you know, if she hit 347 once, she's going to be able to do it again. I do know that she had to drop her coach and is now working with Juliet and Jacqueline Malater. And I have big trust in Jacqueline Malater, who is, I think she got second at Powerlifting American Nationals to Gabby Martinez in the 69s. But
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
Jackie
Okay.
Malater. Yep. So Jackie Malater is actually one of Hannah's close friends. And so she's working with her for, these last couple of weeks to kind of recover from having to drop the coach. So I trust in Jackie and Juliet as that duo there. And I think she'll put up more than 425, although the 425 was difficult. She's not putting up anything near 500 or 527, which Matilda's done in the gym. But I think she'll put up a comfortable total. And that is near Ayla, who is at 442.5. I unfortunately am probably gonna have to concede. The Georgia Tech lifter will not win in this case if Ayla's been making progress on top of that 442.5. I think Hannah would have to fight for 440. So I'm gonna go Ayla here, but I know Hannah is as delusional as it gets. So I have big trust in the ability to put up more than 425. So
Yeah, no, I definitely have Ayla. I
yeah.
think winning that one. She looks pretty good. So even though she did just have a meet, so she probably won't she probably won't put too much on her total, but even if she got 450, it'd be really hard after that 425 that I saw from Hannah. But she is a Team 3 lifter, Hannah, so
Yep.
shout out her. We actually I kind of wanted to get her on, but we never got a chance. But she's definitely got potential for sure. She's
Yep.
very young. So moving on, can we move on to the 82s?
Yeah, 82s. We have two lifters in the 82s, Kenya and Ashley Hayes, obviously both from Classic City. They're sitting around 407 and 400 QTs, and the top end of the 82s is 497. So we're a big drop off. I think they're both top 15, maybe trying to jump up top 10 or trying to stick in that top 15 area. The battle between them, I mean, it's pretty tight. I don't know. I don't keep up with either their training too much to kind of pick one. But as far as in Georgia
Yeah,
goes,
I will say Kenya was like as of 3 weeks ago, Kenya was at 75, and she actually got on the podcast and mentioned that she was supposed to be battling Hannah. So I think she's strength wise around where Hannah is, but she told me that she didn't want to have to cut too much weight to going into Cnats, so she just decided to go up to 82 and a half.
Mhm.
Um, so that 407 and a half that she has in her QT is actually at 75. So that being said, I think that she's probably a runaway for the win against our other Georgia competitor, Ashley Hayes, both from Classic City. I believe Kenya's probably gonna, since she doesn't have to cut weight, I'd assume she's gonna come in pretty comfortable. And she told me she's feeling pretty good. I think I feel like at one point I heard she was mentioning something about her hamstring or something. But as of right now, she looks pretty good to win that little Georgia battle between them. Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure what the top of the class is actually doing. So do you guys have anything to add there? Or?
Just shout out Ashley. She is going to be the president of Classic City next year. So hope she represents them well out here.
Yep, congratulations to her. Yeah, yeah. They actually both of them did just do the meet in November. Uh, the I believe it was the Intercollegiate Cup, or no, not the Cup, the
It was
championship, the
the
collegiate
collegiate
champ.
championship, yeah.
Yeah, so they both did that meet, so they both have had the same amount of time to prep. Um, but I know Kenya has is going up a weight class, so I'd imagine she's going to be a little bit stronger than before. But I actually don't think Ashley post anything for her training. I don't think.
Do you know how
Uh,
big the cut is? That would be good info. Like, is it like a 4 or 5 pound cut, or is it like an 8 to 10 pound cut that she does over multiple
it
months?
is a pretty big cut, but
Okay.
she told me that she still is like underweight. She told me it's a 10-pound cut, so I'm assuming she floats around
175.
175, 176. and she said that by the time um this meet comes up, I think she's planning on being a full 181. I think.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
she's attempt.
Give me
I
Kenya.
think,
Give me Kenya.
yeah, I think she's planning on coming in like heavier than like without having to cut. Just coming in like at a comfortable 180.
Yeah. 10
Um,
pounds is considerable for weighing 175.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
sorry, what were you saying?
yeah, so I'm imagining she has a good amount of room left to add on to that 407.5.
Yeah, I actually have experience with trying to get someone to lose 10 pounds. One of the fourth STS lifter now being mentioned, Ilona Coronado. She graduated a year ago. She was a 75. And she floated in the 175 to 180 range. And we actually did the cut down to 165. And um, I actually have a lot of experience also with cutting. For all those meets that I had mentioned before at 81 or at 82.5, I was weighing like 195 plus in the 200s for one of them.
Wow.
I did some absurd cuts, gut cuts, water cuts, dumb shit. But I'm really good at meat cutting for meats. Sorry, weight cutting for meats. And I know that even with all of the stops taken for Ilona, um, although she did PR and everything, that meet when she cut from 175 down to 165, you can feel the stress on the day of losing 10 pounds. So I think if Kenya is not having to do that and gaining weight on top of that, she's just it's such a buff. It's such an insane buff. So if Kenya's at 407 after doing these 10-pound cuts, give me a casual, like, I have no context on her training. Give me a casual 425, 430 for Kenya. I think, yeah, that's my analysis there. I think that the 10-pound cut is more considerable than so.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure, for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I definitely agree. But moving on to the heavier weight women, I actually don't know a single lifter above
Yeah.
82 and above 82 and a half in Georgia in um or in just the nation in general.
So
So
just
for
a
the sake,
shout out. Just a shout out. Sorry. There is a 90. There's a 90 women in Georgia or a
yeah.
90 female in Georgia. I'm gonna butcher the hell out of her name, but her
Oh,
name
Amy. Yeah,
Amy.
Amy.
Yeah,
Yes.
she trains at DNA, so I thought you might know who that is.
Yes, I do know who that is.
All
Yeah, I
right, I'll let
didn't.
you talk about it because I don't know who that is. I just found her before, so you got it.
Whew, oh, all right. Well, I feel like I just saw her hit a PR in training. I didn't. I can't recall what the PR on squad. I can't recall exactly what the number was. That's also another elevated strength. I know she's under Opal. Shout out them. But I don't know too much about. She's pretty quiet. We've talked before, but like never much about like lifting or anything. That's why I kind of didn't even know she was doing Cnats until we just seen her on the roster. But no, good luck to her. I don't know what her goals are or anything like that going into it, but she I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be her first CNETs. I do think she's relatively new to the sport, so I feel like next time we talk about her, we'll probably have a lot more to say. But that's her, Georgia State lifter. And then moving on to 100 plus, we actually have a lifter from Kennesaw Barbell named Narda Sigala. Shout out her. I don't know anything about her, but
Yeah. I
that
mean,
is
just to mention it for the 90s, it's a runaway for Courtney Hopkins at 520. For the 100 plus, the top range is 597. Our Georgia lifters at 405. So I think that's not really in contention. But and then 100, we don't have a Georgia lifter, but five not or that's 100 plus. Okay, my roster just froze and shut down. But I don't know about hundreds, but we don't have a Georgia lifter. 100
I
plus is
got
a
it. I got
runaway.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Kennesaw barbell lifter. Oh, that's who you were talking about. Sorry, my
Yeah.
fault.
She's at
yeah,
405, which I
no,
don't know how
yeah.
that ranks, but I know the top end is high there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's women. Do we want to talk about best lifter really quick? We actually spent a lot of time on the women.
Yeah,
So
that was
that's
about an
why
hour on one.
forgive me if we rushed. Yeah, forgive me if we rushed through there. I just didn't expect. I believe we've been on the women for about an hour now. But
Wow. We can split this up into two. God damn.
Might be three
ah,
at the end of it. I
uh
don't know.
Yeah, we might just have to thug. We can thug it out. But for the best lifters, do we have our top three on the top of our heads, or
I
I
got
know
him.
Ethan. Okay, Ethan, you want to start?
Yep. I think in first place, give me Janie Kovac out of the 67.5. Her most recent meet, she had a 205 deadlift. She's now done 227.5, which is 501 for a 67.5 lifter, which is insanity. Previously, that deadlift record held by our own Juliet Hartman at, I think, 441 or maybe just over. I think she had chipped it. I don't know the exact number, but a 60 pound deadlift PR along with, squats and bench that you can't laugh at 402 and 215. So I think Janie Kovac is going to smoke not smoke everybody. I think she's going to take away the win in a close battle with Rivka. I actually don't know Rivka's last name, but I do have a lot of belief in Rivka. I know that she makes insane progress block to block. I love me some Carrington Amati. And then in third place, I will take Logan Alween, and I'm saying that wrong 100%, but she is currently second place for the, I think it was, I don't remember the
60s. She's a
60s.
60. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's gonna overtake Sophia Fortin, and I think she's gonna find herself on the best lifter platform at the end of the day. So those are my three in that order. I think it goes Janie, Rivka, Logan.
Okay. So I'll go next. I 100% agree with Janie. I think her being out of all the people that are in contention for best lifter, she is, I believe, the heaviest and 100% has the heaviest deadlift. So I think her being the last lifter in um like in this like list kind of gives her a huge advantage because it's like, oh, like these 60s just did this dots wise, I could do that, and then she wins best lifter. Um and also she doesn't, I don't think she's too concerned about um like I think she's like pretty like she has a nice comfortable lead in first to not have to stress about a battle. So I believe Janie is gonna win best lifter. Second place, I agree also that Rivka, she's also has, I believe she doesn't have much of a battle unless I miss somebody on the 56 roster. Um, so I think she'll have a comfortable day where she can kind of just come in and hit numbers that she wants to hit. Um, for three, I'm gonna have to go a different direction than Ethan. I will choose Marina. One, because of personal bias, I can admit that me and her are friends. But also, she also does not have a battle, so she is just gonna go in and hit probably just chip numbers that she has previously already hit in her last meet, with really next to no pressure. So I couldn't imagine her. And also her last meet, she got a five, or I'm sorry, she got a 494 dots, I believe, I think, off the top of my head, and she missed her last deadlift. So if she comes in and hits everything, I think she'll probably be like, yeah, 5'10s, maybe. Maybe I'm like
Yeah.
over.
So just so you're aware, there's the 75 also. Who I think gets fourth, by the way, is going to end in the 520s. So I think you're going to need a bit more than 510. Matilda has a 527, or she has a 514 training dots right now. So I think you're going to have to get above 514. I think that's kind of the limit here. So Marina would have to ball the fuck out.
Hey, that's my friend. She's got it.
Hey, go
But
Marina, go Marina.
yeah, I'm not gonna bounce out. But I actually didn't realize there was a 75. I
Yeah.
forgot already that there's a
Yep.
75 that's strong.
Matilda, I have in fourth, and she's at 514. So, yeah,
But I
Eli.
think as far as Logan, I do want to throw Logan in there too. I would have like put her too because I kind of want her to do. I want to see her do well. But I think her having a battle with Sophia, I think she's gonna prioritize winning in the first place her weight class because she isn't even in first on the QT list.
Yeah,
Um, so I think that might just be a little bit too much pressure for her to like fuck it, like let's go for best lifter before anything.
yeah,
So yeah, the 75, that's interesting though, man. Oh, maybe I don't know, shoot, maybe throw her in for second for me. I don't know, just to shake it up.
yeah,
Because she's like I like that's another advantage. She's lifting last.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so
Well, she has a battle. She has a battle as well. So if that's what you're
ooh,
kind of going off, the top three 75s are going to be close. All
yeah.
north 500 dots for sure.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna keep Marina then because I feel like a battle automatically is probably gonna trip
Distracts
you.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
gonna distract you for one, and then also it's like most of the time, unless that battle like turns into one of those like, oh shit, you're forced to have the best meet of your life and you just happen to do it. Most of the time you're gonna fuck up somewhere, or you're gonna have to hold back to secure a total. So that's my analysis. I'm sorry, Eli, you go ahead.
Sorry, I'm trying to
No,
kill a
Eli.
bug up in here. It's flying around. Anyway, I'm just gonna say we have a numbers guy on here for a reason. I'm not gonna disagree with him. He's been in here calculating, studying. No chance he's wrong. I'm on Ethan's side.
If you want, you can throw Matilda in at 3 over Logan.
I don't want to. I don't
If
want
you want to
to.
be interesting. Okay.
I don't
okay.
want to be different. I don't want to be different. I want to be right.
Thanks for the. I appreciate that, Eli. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's females. Wrap it up. That might be a separate episode depending on how this looks. But while Tony's gone, let's jump into the men.